Welcome to the Makerfaire here in Boulder, Colorado in 2015. We're here at TinkerMill's booth, showing off all of the fun we have going on here. Right now, while they go out to do an aluminum pour, which we'll see later, we're gonna go run through all of the stations real quick. So here we have the Musica Tesla coil. So Tesla coil is back there. It's powered by MIDI from a keyboard or from the laptop here. And the keyboard here is built by Bill, and it's all hand wired off of a custom keyboard.
Each key contains a single switch contact. The MIDI board will handle up to 256 contacts and generates MIDI note on and note off commands. There is a MIDI merger on the front end of this board which will merge MIDI input commands with those generated by the key contacts. This allows the MIDI songs played on the computer to be merged with what is played on the keyboard. The PC board was laid out using Express PCB.
Step up here and grab on real tight, but don't touch the end. And I got to restart. Hold on tight. Don't. There we go. Draw that arc out as long as you can get it. So, if you see, the smaller the person, the better it seems, because they have a different electrical value, okay? Their capacitance, I would say, is smaller, and it's changing the circuit. He is part of an electric circuit right now. And so if you touch him, you'll get a shock, and he will too, and he'll drop the volt. But, so, for every inch you get 10,000 volts. What did you see there? 6 or 7 inches?
Yeah, at least 5 or 6, yeah.
That's 50 or 60,000 volts between those two metal electrodes. But the total circuit voltage may be more like 1 million. Okay? Pretty cool, huh? Let's try it. Who's next?
Here we have Bill's door chime of much annoyance that he built himself.
The door chime of great annoyance contains 4 strikers made up of rotary solenoids, sequenced by an Arduino Pro Micro. The solenoids are driven by Darlington transistors. The PC board was laid out using Express PCB.
Here we have a handy bot provided by Jeff that's actually a small self-contained CNC mill that makes, we're making nameplates like this right now.
Yeah, so we're taking, we replaced the existing vector file with a new one, and now we need to create the tool path. So that's telling it where to drive the machine. So now we need to save it. When it comes up, hit enter.
Get it? Need a little prop.
Here we have one of our musical instruments that was made at the TinkerMill. It's called the Blue Man Pipes. I'm no musician. Here we have one of our 3D printers. We're pushing about 20 of these now at the TinkerMill, but we always like to bring out the Delta Bot just because it's something different that most people don't see.
This is a word clock instead of numbers that has words. You can see the numbers above the word o'clock are hours, and the words below it are minutes. Some of the words have got to be broken apart to be creative, as there's not enough positions to cover all the words together.
The clock is made out of RGB LED panels similar to this one, and microcontrollers on custom boards like these. Here's another quick demo of something that was made at the TinkerMill. This is a lap and time clock for bicycle racing that one of the top guys in one of the biggest bicycle clubs here in Boulder has been working on. So he just got this together for the show here. It counts down, well right now it's counting up, but it will count down laps and then count down the last 60 minutes of the race. So here we have a couple of the quadcopters that were built at the TinkerMill. There's the Frankencopter, that's a quad, and then this is one of Matt's private drones that's actually a tricopter with an articulated third rotor here. So, and he's also got a display for flying this around so you can see what's going on in flight.
Wait, can it go fast?
Yes, very fast.
This is our house drone at TinkerMill. We call him Frankenquad, as you can see from the bolts in the head. Actually, all the parts here were built at TinkerMill. The frame, the dome, and the legs are all 3D printed. Underneath the dome, we have an RG-Pilot flight controller, which has GPS functionality, so it can follow waypoints. We can also do altitude hold with the onboard barometer. Spent a lot of time with this. When I showed up, it was not flying quite right, but we've gotten it to a point where we can follow GPS waypoints and pre-program its route so it flies completely autonomously. So we get about a 10 to 15 minute flight time. It depends on how you're flying the vehicle, and we get a decent amount of thrust out of it, enough that we could probably carry a small camera and a gimbal setup. We also have some awesome LED lights that we just recently put on. Exhibit A, used the laser cutter to cut diffusers for our LEDs so that they were a little bit more visible at night. The other aircraft we have here is my personal tricopter. This guy has 3 rotors instead of 4, obviously the term tricopter. It has a location for mounting of a camera with a first-person view setup so that we transmit video back at a 5.8 gigahertz frequency, and you can pick it up on a TV or a headset. The unique thing about a tricopter is that no matter how you try, you're always going to have some collective torque from the motors, since there's an odd number of them. So to counteract that, on the tail of the multi-rotor, I'll plug it in here. So the tail of the multi-rotor will yaw, and in this setting, we'll turn it around here, it'll counteract any effects that I try to put on it. So it is naturally trying to turn to the opposite side when I move it. So both of these multi-rotors have auto stabilization, which means that when you let your hands off the sticks, it's not going to maintain its pitch or last pitch or roll input. For the quad, we have 2 in one direction and 2 in the other. We can denote that by color. And actually, to create the yaw that you saw here, this quad slows down or speeds up 2 of the motors to create a positive or negative torque on the vehicle. They counteract the torque of each other, right? So it moves side to side, which does cause a little bit of lack of stability, during any yaw motions. But the tricopter will maintain its full lift while it's in a yaw configuration. These have a range of about 1 mile, depending on the transmitter that you have. My video transmitter for this is about 1,000 meters, or so a kilometer, and that's about as far as I think I'd ever want to fly it anyway. So if you lose video transmission, you're in trouble. Fly backwards until you get it back. So there is some inherent risk in that. So that's why whenever I do any real FPV flying, I do it outside of populated areas.
Or in the White House.
Or in the White House, yeah, of course. Yeah.
Here we have some great science fair projects. We have a harmonic display using pendulums. We have a pendulum that displays chaos theory, the dual pendulum. We have the Newton's cradle, and we have a magnetic assisted pendulum. One of the projects by one of our members, it's a small, very low-cost microscope using a little $1 optics you can get off of Amazon and a couple of pieces of plexiglass and your cell phone. So you find the spot, bring it down, and you can see all of the detail in whatever you're looking at. And you can use the zoom on the camera to zoom in and see. Here we have a history of 3D visual devices, starting off with this binocular looking device from 1910 that has the dual picture, same principle the Oculus Rift is based on. So you put the little card in the slot and then look through and you can see a 3D picture. This one happens to be a greenhouse. Then we have, from the late 30s, early 40s, one of the first Viewmasters that does 3D representation on the wheel. Again, look through it, look at a light source. Right now I can see young deer and, well, it's young deer frolicking in the, it actually looks like a scene from Rudolph. So the little wheel here comes out and goes right in and you can see through it. Change the picture, clicking the lever. Jumping up to the 60s and 70s, we have the red and blue pictures and movies and things like that. So looking at them, you can see, I see a statue here jumping out of the page at me. And then moving all the way up to 2014, we have the Google Cardboard running on an Android phone. So I can look around and I can shoot asteroids using these. So here we have the fire-breathing reindeer project that the Tinker Scouts did for Christmas. It was on display at the park for the Christmas festival, and now we have it here at the Makerfaire. So if you look here, we have the propane pilot, we have compressed air coming out, and we have fuel coming from the gas tanks that's coming through these fuel pumps and making the big fire. The fuel pumps are controlled by the green and red buttons over there that the kids are pressing that make the big fire. So if you see here when they press the red one, well, they're pressing the green and we're out of green, so it's just yellow. But when they press the red one, the fire turns red. Here we have the TinkerMill Foundry, custom built by one of our members. We've got a fan for air and some propane that comes in and melts aluminum. We take the aluminum out, pour it into a mold, which we actually have one right here cooling right now. So pour it in until it fills up, and then all of the excess we pour over here into muffins, into the muffin tin, to make the aluminum cupcakes. And once this cools down, we'll be able to pull it out and see some of the things we've molded. So this is our foundry and forge that we're building at the TinkerMill. This is the small portable version that we can take to shows. So here we have a couple of pieces that were cast here earlier today. You can see here, this is the pour spot. So this was in the mold this way, and the aluminum was poured in until it filled up and then came up and pooled through here. This was then pulled out of the mold and then just cleaned up a very little bit. But that was actually cast here today. And then here's a wrench that was the same thing. It was poured in and then the fill pour was cut off. So this is being made down there. Here we have a blow molder that was built at TinkerMill by one of our members. Completely custom parts. It makes blow molds much like a soda pop bottle. Here's a couple of examples. So this is the blow molding machine. It takes resin in the form of pellets and feeds them down through a screw feeder and then melts them and extrudes a tube. Then the die closes over top of the tube and we blow air up through the bottom of it. So we'll see if it works here. But the end goal is to turn recycling and plastics into toys. And this is the toy we're going for, a toy boat. This one, of course, is wood, but we're shooting for a plastic part like this. So now it's extruding the tube down. And you can see there's actually some black spots in there. And that's from other materials that we were trying to push through as well, just reground containers. But it's extruding the tube down. I'm just supporting it a little bit, keeping it aligned so that it goes over top of the nozzle. And then I will close the die on it. Boop. And blow it full of air. And fingers crossed, I've got a 50% success rate here, that's about it. But, and then these fans will cool it down, so yeah, there's the process. All right. Yep, I built it all myself at TinkerMill. Actually, not alone. I had some help from my assistant here, and a couple of other friends and makers at TinkerMill helped me out. All right. Yep.
Your assistant is nice, but she's a little shy.
She is a little shy. This is true. Yeah. When I actually go to produce anything with this, I'll be making aluminum molds so that we get a better parting line and a better quality surface finish on the parts. And I'll add automation so I don't have to be doing the timing.